Home greater than NewsLocal Government Association fears children's services are at a tipping point. The local government association reports that a total of 133 out of 152 councils, 88%, were forced to spend more money than they had planned on children's social care in the last year, 2017-18. This amounted to an overspend of £806 million. The LGA says the number of councils overspending shows the immense pressure they are under to support vulnerable children and young people, and emphasizes that this issue now affects all areas of the country. In LGA's estimation, children's services face a £3.1 billion funding gap by 2025 just to maintain the current levels of service, and calls on the government to pledge new funds for the system. Latest figures show that the number of looked-after children, 75,420 children in the care of councils in England, is at the highest level since the 1980s. The LGA says that the support necessary to keep children safe from immediate risk of harm can be extremely expensive, forcing councils to cut or end vital early intervention services which can help prevent children from entering care in the first place. Over the past year, the number of children supported by a child protection plan to keep them safe from harm increased by more than 2,700. This is the biggest annual increase in 4 years, and an 84% increase in the number of children on plans over the past decade. Councils say that the combination of increased demand and cuts in central government funding have left children's services at a tipping point. Chair of the LGA's Children and Young People Board, CLLR Antoinette Bramble, said, "This should be a wake-up call to the countrywide crisis we are facing in funding services to protect vulnerable children and young people, which, as these figures show, is now being felt in all towns and cities across the country. The fact that the overwhelming majority of councils are now being forced to spend more than they had planned on children's social care highlights the urgent need for the government to provide new and long-term significant funding for children's services. While the additional investment announced in the budget was a small step in the right direction and helpful, this will do little to alleviate the immediate and future pressures on services for some of the most vulnerable children and families in nearly all areas of the country. It is vital that the government tackles the funding crisis facing children's services in next year's spending review, and delivers a long-term sustainable funding solution that enables councils to protect children at immediate risk of harm while also supporting early intervention to prevent problems escalating in the first place." The 19th of January. 13 keywords: children's services, looked after children.